Burgeon. Grow or increase rapidly. Catamount. A medium-sized or large wild cat, especially a cougar. Clavichord. A small early keyboard instrument with a soft tone. Coalface. An exposed area of coal in a mine. Communicant. A person who receives Holy Communion. Condole. Express sympathy for someone. Curium. A radioactive metallic chemical element made by high-energy atomic collisions. Datable. Variant spelling of datable. Disaccharide. A sugar whose molecule can be broken down to give two simple sugar molecules. Disempower. Make someone less powerful or confident. Disintermediation. Reduction in the use of intermediaries between producers and consumers, e.g., by investing directly in the securities market rather than through a bank. Distributary. A branch of a river that does not return to the main stream after leaving it, as in a delta. Exculpate. Formal show or declare that someone is not guilty of wrongdoing. File sharing. The practice of or ability to transmit files from one computer to another over a network or the Internet. Flophouse. Informal, a place providing cheap accommodations for homeless people. Gaiter. A covering of cloth or leather for the ankle and lower leg. Garble. Reproduce a message or transmission in a confused and distorted way. Hambone. Informal and inferior actor or performer. Hangnail. A piece of torn skin at the 589 haphazard root of a fingernail. Has-been. Informal, a person or thing that is outdated or no longer significant. Headbanger. Informal, a fan or performer of heavy metal music. Housecoat. A woman's long, loose robe for casual wear around the house. Indubitable. Formal, impossible to doubt, unquestionable. Internationalize. Make something international in scope or nature. Jackboot. A large leather military boot reaching to the knee. Lycanthrope. A werewolf. Maraca. A hollow gourd or gourd 792 marches shaped container filled with small beans, stones, etc., shaken as a musical instrument. Micmac. A member of an American Indian people living in the maritime provinces of Canada. Monosaccharide. A sugar, e.g., glucose, that cannot be broken down to give a simpler sugar. Muntjac. A small Southeast Asian deer with a dog-like bark and small tusks. Neckband. A strip of material around the neck of a garment. Neurasthenia. A condition characterized by weariness, headaches, and irritability, associated chiefly with emotional disturbance. Non-aligned. Not allied to any of the major world powers. Outgun. Have more or better weapons than another person or group. Overfeed. Feed someone or something too much. Partitive. Indicating that only a part of a whole is referred to, e.g., a slice of bacon, some of the children. Pastorale. A slow instrumental composition in compound time. Paterfamilias. The male head of a family. Pericarp. The part of a fruit formed from the wall of the ripened ovary. Photochromic. Undergoing a reversible change in color when exposed to bright light. Play acting. Behavior that is exaggerated for pretense. Prolix. Tongue and boring. Purgation. Purification. Pyromania. An obsessive desire to set fire to things. Ramekin. A small dish for baking and serving an individual portion of food. Revalue. Assess the value of something again. Rodenticide. A poison used to kill rodents. Scandalize. Shock or horrify someone by acting in an immoral or unacceptable way. Supplicate. Humbly ask or beg for something. Terbium. A silvery white metallic chemical element. Thereunto. Old use or formal to that. Tragedian. Femme. Undershoot. Of an aircraft, land short of the runway. Unprintable. Too offensive or shocking to be published. Untrammeled. Not restricted or hampered. Ursine. Relating to or resembling bears. Weltanschauung. A particular philosophy or view of life. Wheatear. A songbird with black and gray, buff, or white plumage and a white rump. Acidify. Make or become acid. Actinium. A rare radioactive metallic chemical element found in uranium ores. Agglomerate. Collect or form into a mass. H. The letter H. Alphabetize. Arrange words in alphabetical order. Annal. Annals, a historical record of events year by year. Antiphonal. Sung or recited alternately between two groups. Bacchanalian. Drunken and wild. Baluster. A short pillar forming part of a series supporting a rail. Beguine. A popular dance of Caribbean origin, similar to the foxtrot. Chaconne. A musical composition in a series of varying sections in slow triple time. Cherry. Cautiously reluctant. Connive. Often connive with, conspire. Cowlick. A lock of hair that grows in a direction different from the rest and that resists being combed flat. Deciliter. A unit of volume equal to 1/10 of a liter. Excoriate. Formal criticize someone severely. Extirpate. Completely destroy something. Fortune teller. A person who predicts what will happen in people's lives. Grampus. A killer whale or other dolphin-like sea animal. Gunsight. A device on a gun enabling it to be aimed accurately. Half-life. The time taken for the radioactivity of a substance to fall to half its original value. Handsaw. A wood saw worked by one hand. Hobnail. A short heavy-headed nail used to reinforce the soles of boots. Homiletic. Having to do with or like a homily. Horsefly. A large fly that bites horses and other large mammals. Husbandman. Old use of farmer. Incurious. Not eager to know something, lacking curiosity. Jejune. Naive and simplistic. Jonquil. A narcissus with small sweet-smelling yellow flowers. Judder. Chiefly Brit. Kalanchoe. A tropical succulent plant with clusters of tubular flowers. Katydid. A large North American insect related to the grasshoppers, the male of which makes a sound that resembles its name. Kilobyte. A unit of information stored in a computer equal to 1. Lifework. The entire or principal work, labor, or task of a person's lifetime. Livelong. Literary, of a period of time, entire. Loden. A thick waterproof woolen cloth. Militate. Be a powerful or decisive factor in preventing something. Minidisc. A disc similar to a small CD but able to record sound or data as well as play it back. Misappropriate. Dishonestly take something for one's own use. Multipack. A package containing a number of similar or identical products. Nightside. The side of a planet or moon facing away from the sun and therefore in darkness. Obstreperous. Noisy and difficult to control. Oubliette. A secret dungeon that can only be accessed through a trapdoor in its ceiling. Overhype. Informal make exaggerated claims about the good qualities of a product, idea, or 918 overlook event, in order to get public attention. Overlie. Lie on top of something. Placket. An opening in an item of clothing, covering fastenings, or for access to a pocket. Plasticky. Resembling plastic. Post-industrial. No longer relying on heavy industry. Potentilla. A small shrub with yellow or red flowers. Prorogue. Discontinue a session of a parliament without dissolving it. Provender. Animal fodder. Psychoanalyze. Treat someone using psychoanalysis. Coin. An external angle of a wall or building. Rehouse. Provide someone with new housing. Roadstead. Another term for road, sense 3. Satchel. A shoulder bag with a long strap and typically closed by a flap. Stria. Technical a line, ridge, or groove, especially one of a number of similar parallel features. Sugar-coated. Superficially attractive or acceptable. Superheat. Physics 1 heat a liquid under pressure above its boiling point without vaporization. Tatting. A kind of knotted lace made by hand with a small shuttle. Time-worn. Damaged or made less interesting as a result of age or a great deal of use. Tootle. Casually make a series of sounds on a horn, trumpet, etc. Triable. Liable to trial in a court of law. Trimaran. A sailboat or other boat with 3 hulls side by side. Troopship. A ship for transporting troops. Tuberose. A Mexican plant with heavily scented white waxy flowers and a bulb-like base. Unexpurgated. Complete and containing all the original material, not censored. Unregenerate. Not 1434 unrest reforming or showing repentance, obstinately wrong or bad. Unscreened. Not subjected to testing or investigation by screening. Varlet. Old use a rogue or rascal. Verdure. Literary lush green vegetation. Visigoth. A member of the branch of the Goths who invaded the Roman Empire between the 1465 Vista 3rd and Sth centuries AP. Woodworm. The wood-boring larva of a kind of small brown beetle. Archean. British spelling of Archean. Archeology/archaeology/ also archaeology. Avoirdupois. A system of weights based on a pound of 16 ounces or 7. Biocide. A substance that is poisonous to living organisms, such as a pesticide. Blastoff. The launch of a rocket or spacecraft. Bromeliad. A member of a family of tropical American plants. Bullheaded. Determined and obstinate. Checker. British spelling of checker. Cofferdam. A watertight enclosure pumped dry to allow construction work below the waterline, e.g., when building bridges or repairing a ship. Coxcomb. Old use a vain and conceited man, a dandy. Dewlap. A fold of loose skin hanging from the neck or throat of an animal such as a cow. Dishearten. Make someone lose hope or confidence. Disquisition. A long or complex discussion of a topic in speech or writing. Enfilade. A volley of gunfire. Directed along a line of soldiers from end to end. Enfranchise. Give the right to vote to someone. Epiphyte. A plant that grows on a tree or other plant but is not a parasite. Equable. Calm and even-tempered. Executrix. A female executor of a will. Fixity. The state of being unchanging or permanent. Gelignite. A high explosive made from nitroglycerin and nitrocellulose in a base of wood pulp and sodium. Globule. A small round particle of a substance, a drop. Glom. Informal four become stuck or joined. Glop. Informal sloppy or sticky semi-fluid matter. Hatchway. An opening or hatch, especially in a ship's deck. Henbane. A poisonous plant of the nightshade family, with sticky hairy leaves and an unpleasant smell. Hymnody. The singing or composing of hymns. Inroad. A gradual entry into or effect on a place or situation. Insouciant. Casually unconcerned. Intersperse. Scatter or place things among or between other things. Langoustine. A small European lobster. Rish. The Celtic language of Ireland. Mannerly. Well-mannered, polite. Mezuzah. A parchment inscribed with religious texts and attached in a case to the doorpost of a Jewish house as a sign of faith. Microburst. A sudden, powerful, localized downdraft. Nymphomania. Uncontrollable or abnormally strong sexual desire in a woman. Penlight. A small flashlight shaped like apple. Phlebitis. Inflammation of the walls of a vein. Planchette. A small board on casters and fitted with a vertical pencil, used in seances to convey supposed messages from spirits. Potboiler. Informal, a book, movie, etc., produced purely to earn money quickly by appealing to popular taste. Rheostat. An instrument used to control the current in an electrical circuit by varying the amount of resistance in it. Rootsy. Informal, of music, not commercialized and emphasizing its traditional or ethnic origins. Sandblast. Roughen or clean something with a jet of sand driven by compressed air or steam. Spatulate. Having a broad rounded end. Spectroscope. A device for producing and recording spectra for examination. Stepping stone. A raised stone on which to step when crossing a stream or muddy area. Strew. Scatter things untidily over a surface or area. Tabbouleh. A Middle Eastern salad of cracked wheat mixed with finely chopped tomatoes, onions, parsley, etc. Tappet. A moving part in a machine that transmits motion in a straight line between a cam and another part. Telluric. Relating to the Earth as a planet. Towel. A piece of thick absorbent cloth or paper used for drying. Tropism. Biology, the turning of all or part of an organism toward or away from an external stimulus such as light. Turbocharge. Equip an engine or vehicle with a turbocharger. Tweeze. Pluck or pull something with tweezers. Unclip. Release something from being fastened or held with a clip. Unconsidered. Not thought about carefully. Yos. A contagious tropical disease caused by a bacterium that enters cuts on the skin and causes small lesions that may develop into deep ulcers. Afterworld. A world that a person enters after death. Alyssum. A plant with small flowers, most commonly white. Cock. And verb variant spelling of cock. Circumlocution. The use of many words where fewer would do. Coca-Cola. Trademark, a carbonated non-alcoholic drink. Communitarianism. A theory that emphasizes the responsibility of the individual to the community and the importance of the family unit. Congruous. In agreement or harmony. Connubial. Literary relating to marriage, conjugal. Convoke. Formal call together an assembly or meeting. Cubbyhole. A small enclosed space or room. Cupidity. Greed for money or possessions. Cutworm. A moth caterpillar that lives in the upper layers of the soil and eats through the stems of young plants at ground level. Demoniac. Relating to or resembling a demon or demons, demonic. Deputize. Make someone a deputy. Derogate. Formal 1, derogate from, cause something to seem less valuable or important, detract from. Detestation. Intense dislike. Disambiguate. Remove uncertainty of meaning from something with more than one possible meaning. Disconcert. Disturb the composure of, unsettle. Dubonnet. Trademark a sweet red vermouth made in France. Echinoderm. A marine invertebrate, sea creature, of a large group that includes starfishes and sea urchins. Embrasure. An opening or recess around a window or door forming an enlargement of the area from the inside. Etiolated. Pale and weak due to a lack of light. Evildoer. A person who does evil things. Fetlock. A joint of a horse's leg between the knee and the hoof. Floribunda. A plant, especially a rose, that bears dense clusters of flowers. Flypaper. Sticky, poison-treated strips of paper that are hung indoors to catch and kill flies. Gimcrack. Showy but flimsy or poorly made. Isobar. A line on a map connecting points having the same atmospheric pressure. Italicize. Print or format text in italics. Ludic. Formal, spontaneous, playful. Lurex. Trademark yarn or fabric incorporating a glittering metallic thread. Meadowsweet. A tall meadow plant with heads of creamy white fragrant flowers. Monomania. An obsessive preoccupation with one thing. Outshoot. Shoot better than someone else. Pastern. The part of a horse's or other animal's foot between the fetlock and the hoof. Peccary. A pig-like mammal found from the southwestern U.S. to Paraguay. Peradventure. Old use perhaps. Pinnace. Chiefly historical, a small boat forming part of the equipment of a larger ship. Prepossessing. Attractive or appealing in appearance. Rami. A vegetable fiber from a tropical Asian plant, used in making textiles. Raunch. Informal, explicit earthiness or sexuality. Reappraise. Appraise something again or differently. Rebirthing. A form of therapy involving controlled breathing intended to imitate the traumatic experience of being born. Scalene. having sides unequal in length. Serration, a tooth or point of a jagged edge. Shamble, walk in a slow, shuffling, awkward way. Sousaphone, a form of tuba with a wide end that points forward above the player's head. Spatha, botany, a large bract, modified leaf, enclosing the flower cluster of certain plants. Spinet, a type of small harpsichord popular in the 18th century. Sporran, a small pouch worn around the waist so as to hang in front of the kilt as part of men's Scottish Highland dress. Swelter, be uncomfortably hot. Tenderize, make meat more tender by beating it or cooking it slowly. Tumescent, swollen or becoming swollen. Unadventurous, not offering, involving, or eager for new or exciting things. Unarguable, not open to disagreement, certain. Unfermented, not fermented. Unreactive, having little tendency to react chemically. Woebegone, looking sad or miserable. Zidovudine, an antiviral drug used to slow the growth of HIV infection in the body. Alienable, law able to be transferred to new ownership. Anglerfish, a marine fish that lures prey within reach of its mouth with a fleshy filament projecting from its snout. Armlet, a bracelet worn around the upper arm. Backtalk, informal, rude or impertinent remarks made in reply to someone in authority. Bedazzle, greatly impress someone with brilliance or skill. Burglarize, enter a building illegally with the intention of committing a crime. Cannelloni, rolls of pasta stuffed with a meat or vegetable mixture, typically cooked in a cheese sauce. Centerboard, a board lowered through the hull of a sailboat to reduce sideways movement. Chafer, a large flying beetle of a group including the Japanese beetle. Chipmaker, a company that manufactures microchips. Clannish, tending to exclude others outside the group. Concretion, a hard solid mass. Craftwork, the making of things by hand. Deplane, disembark from an aircraft. Dolphinarium, an aquarium in which dolphins are kept and trained for public entertainment. Ecoregion, a major ecosystem defined by distinctive geography and receiving uniform solar radiation and moisture. Ecosphere, a region in which life exists or could exist, the biosphere. Espousal, an act of adopting or supporting a cause, belief, or way of life. Fulmar, a large gray and white northern seabird. Garfish, any of a number of long, slender freshwater fish with beak-like jaws and sharply pointed teeth. Halloo, used to attract someone's attention. Hand grip, a handle for holding on to something. High-end, referring to the most expensive of a range of products. Hummock. A small hill or mound. Illumine. Literary light up, illuminate. Indeterminable. Not able to be determined. Lambent. Literary lit up or flickering with a soft glow. Major can. A person from Majorca. Matchlock. Historical, a type of gun with a lock in which a piece of wick or cord was placed for igniting the powder. Megabucks. Informal, a huge sum of money. Millpond. An artificial pool providing a head of water to power a watermill. Mismanage. Manage something badly or wrongly. Moppet. Informal and endearing small child. Muscovado. Unrefined sugar made from sugar cane. Myxomatosis. A highly infectious and usually fatal disease of rabbits, spread by a virus and causing inflammation and discharge around the eyes. Odalisque. Historical, a female slave or concubine in a harem. Oilcloth. Cotton fabric treated with oil to make it waterproof. Paintbox. A box holding a palette of dry paints for painting pictures. Photogravure. A printing process in which the type or image is produced from a photographic negative transferred to a metal plate and etched in. Post-haste. With great speed. Presentiment. A feeling that something undesirable is going to happen. Sud Brit. Purvey. Formal, provide or supply food or drink as one's business. Querulous. Complaining in a petulant or irritable way. Rapscallion. Old, use, a mischievous person. Rep. Variant spelling of rare. Rewritable. Computing, of a. Ringlet. A corkscrew-shaped curl of hair. Salesroom. A room in which auctions are held. Sealskin. The skin or prepared fur of a seal, used for making clothes. Sundew. A small carnivorous plant found in boggy places, with leaves bearing sticky hairs for trapping insects. Tiddly. Brit. Tiddlywinks. A game in which small plastic counters are flicked into a central container, using a larger counter. Toxicant. A toxic substance introduced into the environment, e.g., a pesticide. Unconsummated. Not having been consummated by having sex. Unquoted. Not quoted or listed on a stock exchange. Verismo. Realism or authenticity, especially in opera, art, or movies. Whup. Informal, thrash someone or something. Would-be. Often derogatory, desiring or hoping to be a specified type of person. Zounds. Old use or humorous, expressing surprise or indignation. Aki. Variant spelling of ake. Ampulla. A roughly spherical ancient Roman flask with two handles. Antiparticle. Physics: a subatomic particle with the same mass as a given particle but an opposite electric charge or magnetic effect. Astir. In a state of excited movement. Bastardy. Old use illegitimacy. Bentwood. Wood that is artificially shaped for making furniture. Betimes. Literary: in good time, early. Biddable. Meekly ready to obey instructions. Bryozoan. Any of a group of sedentary aquatic invertebrates. Build out. The growth, development, or expansion of something. Chartism. A UK movement, 1837–48, for social and legislative reform, the principles of which were set out in the People's Charter. Congregant. A member of a congregation. Countrified. Characteristic of the country or country life. Cowhand. A person employed to tend or ranch cattle. Day. The day, June 6, 1944, in World War II on which Allied forces invaded northern France. Decolonize. Withdraw from a colony, leaving it independent. E-business. An online business. Eclogue. A short pastoral poem. Enology. The study of wines. Fluoroquinolone. Any of a class of therapeutic antibiotics that are active against a range of bacteria associated with human and animal diseases. Fontina. A pale yellow Italian cheese. Forbearing. Patient and restrained. Gawp. Informal stare in a stupid or rude way. Gourami. An Asian fish of a large group including many kinds popular in aquariums. Handbell. A small bell, especially one of a set tuned to a range of notes and played by a group of people. Hawser. A thick rope or cable for mooring or towing a ship. Hogweed. A large white-flowered weed of the parsley family. Importunate. Very persistent. Juvenilia. Works produced by an author or artist when young. Kludge. Informal something hastily or badly put together. Large scale. Involving large numbers or a large area, extensive. Loose leaf. Having pages that can be taken out and put in separately. Magnox. A magnesium-based alloy used to enclose uranium fuel elements in some nuclear reactors. Monkshood. A poisonous plant with blue or purple flowers. One way. Moving or allowing movement in one direction only. Overstaffed. Having more employees than are necessary. Palmy. Comfortable and prosperous. Particularism. Exclusive attachment to one's own group, party, or nation. Passkey. A key given only to people who are officially allowed access. Pellucid. Literary one transparent or semi-transparent. Sanderling. A small sandpiper, typically seen running after waves on the beach. Sardonyx. Onyx, a semi-precious stone, in which white layers alternate with yellow or reddish ones. Scry. Foretell the future with a crystal ball. Shebeen. A place that sells alcoholic drink illegally. Shopworn. Dirty or damaged from being displayed or handled in a store. Spray paint. Paint an image or message onto a surface with a spray, or paint a surface with a spray. Stock taking. The action or process of recording the amount of stock held by a business. Subtenant. A person who rents property from a tenant. Telegenic. Having an appearance or manner that is attractive on television. Teleworking. Another term for telecommuting. Thereat. Old use or formal one at that place. Tinsmith. A person who makes or repairs articles made of tin or tinplate. Uncommercial. Not making or intended to make a profit. Unmoderated. Not monitored for inappropriate or offensive content. Villus. Any of many tiny finger-like growths of tissue on some membranes of the body, especially the small intestine. Whiffle. Blow or move lightly. Whitecap. A small wave with a foamy white crest. Zur. A generation zur. Backdate. Make something valid from an earlier date. Blench. Flinch suddenly through fear or pain. Bluestocking. Often derogatory an intellectual or literary woman. Bouzouki. A long-necked Greek form of mandolin. Canyoning. The sport of following the stream down a canyon by means of such techniques as climbing, rappelling, jumping, and swimming. Carboy. A large globular glass bottle with a narrow neck, used for holding acids. Catkin. A spike of small soft flowers hanging from trees such as willow and hazel. Cistus. A shrub with large white or red flowers. Divertimento. A light and entertaining piece of music. Divertissement. A minor entertainment. Diker. A small African antelope. Enumerator. A person employed in taking a census of the population. Gamine. Attractively boyish in appearance. Glowworm. A type of beetle, the wingless female of which glows to attract males. Hangdog. Having a dejected or guilty appearance, shamefaced. Hindmost. Farthest back. Incise. Make a cut or cuts in a surface. Irresolvable. Impossible to solve. Janissary. Historical, a Turkish infantryman in the Sultan's Guard. Jihad. Variant spelling of sap. Lober. Relating to or affecting a lobe, especially a lobe of a lung. Lyonnaise. Cooked with onions or with a white wine and onion sauce. Mechanize. Equip a process or place with machines or automatic devices. Monohull. A boat with only one hull, as opposed to a catamaran or multi-hull. Moonscape. A rocky and barren landscape resembling the moon's surface. Moorhen. A water bird with blackish plumage and a red and yellow bill. Mullein. A plant with woolly leaves and tall spikes of yellow flowers. Multiform. Existing in many forms or kinds. Outvote. Defeat someone or something by winning a larger number of votes. Overambitious. Too ambitious. Pakora. A piece of battered and deep-fried vegetable or meat. Palmate. Shaped like an open hand with a number of sections resembling fingers. Pleasantry. A conventional remark made as part of a polite conversation. Prandial. Formal during or relating to a meal. Propertied. Owning property and land. Puttanesca. A pasta sauce made with tomatoes, garlic, olives, anchovies, etc. Remoulade. A salad or seafood dressing made with hard-boiled egg yolks, oil, vinegar, and seasoning. Roust. Informal, make someone get up or start moving. Scrofula. Historical, a disease characterized by swollen glands, probably a form of tuberculosis. Sub-Saharan. From or forming part of the African region south of the Sahara Desert. Tailcoat. A man's formal coat, with a long skirt divided at the back into tails and cut away in front. Thick-set. Heavily or solidly built, stocky. Treehugger. Informal, derogatory, and environmental campaigner. Undecipherable. Not able to be read or understood. Undiplomatic. Insensitive and tactless. Unsubstantial. Having little or no solidity, reality, or factual basis. Unthought. Not imagined or dreamed of. Untwist. Open something from a twisted position. Upstroke. An upward stroke. Verruca. A contagious wart on the sole of the foot. View screen. The screen on a television, computer, or similar device on which images and information are displayed. Yardarm. Either end of the yard, long pole, slung across a ship's mast for a sail to hang from. Zoomorphic. Having or representing animal forms or gods of animal form. Annelid. A worm with a body made up of segments, such as an earthworm. Barkeeper. A person who owns or serves drinks in a bar. Broad-minded. Tolerant of views or behavior different from one's own, not easily offended. Cast off. No longer wanted, abandoned or discarded. Coati. A raccoon-like animal found in Central and South America, with a long flexible snout and a tail with circular stripes. Conspiracist. A supporter of a conspiracy theory. Cumulate. Accumulate or be accumulated.